Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And to the advocates, particularly Dina Babst, I want to thank her for never giving up. I can't tell you how many times we were at rallies, Albany, here, throughout the state, and you brought people together to make sure the voices of millions of New Yorkers were heard when it came to fighting for paid family leave, first of all in the state of New York, but now to make sure that we add these enhancements to make sure that no one is left behind. So I want to thank you and all the advocates. I'm also going to acknowledge the people who make this happen. There are ideas out there that come to their constituents, come from advocacy groups, but it really takes a senator and a assembly member to get over the finish line in their houses. So I want to give a special thanks to Senator Adabo from Senate District 15, and Stanley Galiff, our assembly member from District 95, and you'll be hearing from them in a couple minutes, but thank them. Also, Kathy Nolan has been a tremendous champion, assembly member from District 37. She couldn't join us here today, but she's been a great champion for paid family leave overall, and we wish her well. So, paid family leave. This is personal. It was 33 years ago when I had to make a tough decision myself. When I was expecting a child, had a baby, working as an attorney on Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan's staff in Washington, and thought for sure it'd be an easy time and be able to get back to work when all is said and done. And I needed paid leave. My husband was a public servant. I was a public servant. We didn't have the money for extra help to come in and take care of us, and we struggled. And at the time, not having the leave, not having the ability to work from home, we put our personal finances aside, and I ended up staying home. And I understood then how much this was a basic human right to be able to take care of your newborn or your adopted child or your family members when they are desperately in need of someone to just hold their hand. And I was able to be there holding my own mother's hand as she took her last breath a few years back, just as she held my hand when I took my first breaths. That is what we call a basic human right here in the state of New York. And I wish that was universally held across this nation, that people would understand that a state like New York that is so steeped in our progressive values, who we fight for, who we stand up for, and why we are the birthplace of so many basic rights. And I'm here to declare that taking care of your family is a human right. The right to be able to not lose your income, not have to make the horrible decision of, am I able to take care of an elderly parent or a newborn baby, or am I going to have to give up my income? No one should have to deal with that specter. Paid family leave in our state has lifted up so many people, over 100,000 New Yorkers every single year, and that's extraordinary. And I remember people talking about this and how, oh my gosh, this is going to bring the economy to its knees. Just like if we increase the minimum wage, it's going to have such a dire impact on our economy. These are what employers need to offer their employees, because now employees are in a far better position. They can negotiate. They need to have these rights. And so many people have fallen by the wayside in this pandemic time. And I think that put a real spotlight, as Dina said, on the trials and tribulations of so many people who've been marginalized before, who do not have a support system. And so to be able to introduce the idea of allowing siblings to help. Think of these various scenarios. You're a single mom. You're pregnant. You have a job. Take care of yourself, perhaps other children. And your parents aren't able to help you, but you have a sibling who is able to be there to help you when you get home from the hospital, help take care of your kids just for a short time, a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. And right now in the state of New York, that person is not eligible for paid family leave to be able to help you, their closest relative, who will still be with them long after the parents are gone. I'm close to my siblings. I have 6 siblings, 5 siblings if you count me. My sister and I are like this. My sister lost her husband a few years ago, and she's been raising teenagers. I have a unique job, but if it wasn't for this, I would want to be there if she got sick. Because who else is going to take care of my sister? Her kids certainly can't. Our parents cannot. And I want everyone to understand that this is not a policy idea that's out there that we can contemplate. It is something that's affecting people's lives every single day. And just you think of older parents as well and older individuals. I also think of the people who don't have children. My Uncle Kevin, a gay man who lived by himself, who relied on his younger siblings to take care of him because he had no children. This is a very real problem for New Yorkers. And I'm so proud today that we have legislators who understand this basic right to take care of each other and sets New York State apart as we tell others around this state, around the country, that you need to join us in our plans to make sure that people can take care of their families, not lose their jobs, not lose their income, and have their position waiting for them to come back. And finally, Washington, let's get it done. I love the fact that in New York we're progressive, we take care of people, but whether it's paid family leave, minimum wage, or right to have an abortion, we want to make sure that while the New Yorkers benefit from these progressive ideals here, that I actually feel bad for the rest of the nation who has not caught up with us. We need a national policy on paid family leave. Do not leave it up to the individual state legislatures to do the right thing. And we hope that they can find a resolution to this problem in Washington as we speak, something I've been waiting for since I was a young mom many, many, many years ago. So that's what this is about. New York, we're going to continue fighting for all New Yorkers, and I believe that by signing this today, it's going to give an opportunity for people to get that extra help they need, that support they need when their families can be there to step in and not lose their own income. So thank you very much. And Senator Dabu, again, I want to thank you for being a leader on this. You have your own daughters who may benefit from this someday, or they'll be able to take care of you someday. I want my kids to be able to take care of me someday, too. So that's how it's all so personal. So Senator Dabu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Governor Hochul, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you, Governor, for giving me that thought of my daughters taking care of me as I get older. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Something to look forward to. Thank you. And truly thank you for your vision. Thank you so much for taking a positive step for our families in this state. So thank you very much, Governor Hochul, to Dina and the advocates, my colleague, Senator McGaliff. I want to also thank my leader, Andrew Stewart Cousins, and my legal team over in the Senate for giving me the opportunity to carry this bill in the Senate. So again, I thank my leader. You know, back in 2016, as Dina mentioned, we heard these stories. We heard these heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching stories about single moms and working fathers and people going off to the military. And we heard these stories, and these stories resonated with us, certainly with me. And they actually formed the foundation of which was the momentum to pass this monumental bill back in 2016, a bill that really was addressing an issue that hadn't been addressed since 1989. And we used these stories that we heard throughout the state, using just these stories to really gain momentum and have this bill passed. And it was a positive step for our state. It really was. You know, as we heard these stories of, you know, who's caring for a parent with cancer, whose father had a stroke, who had the complications of going off in the military. And under all these stories, you saw them come out with this stress. I mean, the crying and the tears were sincerity behind these tears, the stress that was involved with these, just retelling these stories. And not only the stress of the moment that they were going through in their personal life, but the stress of how did they pay a bill because they could not get paid because they had to take the leave. It was incredible that our state had not taken care of this or addressed this since 1989. And so we do this bill back in 2016, and the state takes this monumental step again to do one of the most extensive paid family leave laws in the country, a model for other states. And we, again, taking this step, which now we see this year, I believe, is the last year of the phase-in. But once again, there's our state. There's our state to take that, again, that positive step, that groundbreaking step to include siblings. For some, like Dina said, they're the only family they know, possibly. To take that positive step again to acknowledge the difference and the balance of workforce and work front and home front, and to recognize the realities of the working families out there in the state. That's when government works best, when we can recognize the needs of our people and address it in this way. And all, really, to an extent, minimizing the burdens of small businesses, which was important to me as well. That we are taking this contribution from the employees to minimize the burden on the small businesses so that the small businesses can survive as well. They get back a very productive worker as we try to keep morale high, and they get that productive worker back, or they could use the funds to hire a part-timer, but to minimize the burden on the small business. That was important as well. But I think it was very important that in this post-COVID time, that hopefully by the time this bill is implemented, and we realize the benefits of including siblings with paid family leave, when we implement this bill in hopefully a post-COVID time, that this bill would have a much more significant meaning now than it did in 2016. And I think that's a great step for our state to take. I once again got to thank the governor, Governor Hochul, for her compassion and vision for the families throughout this state. So Governor Hochul, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Galiff, and thank you for your Assembly member. I just gave you a promotion, maybe not depending on your perspective. The Assembly's great. We love the Assembly. Assembly member Sandy Galiff.
Thank you for the promotion. And I'd just like to thank you so much, Governor. There's never been a time that I've been asked by a governor to come to a bill signing on one of my bills. So I just want to thank you so very much. I think this is a wonderful policy change. I was so excited when we passed the Paid Family Leave Act, sponsored by Kathy Nolan. 2016, and I never really thought about the issue of siblings. And I have to say that especially prior to COVID, we were getting calls in our office from siblings saying they wanted to be able to participate. They found out the law did not cover them. They could not get insurance coverage, to help their family members. And then when COVID came, I remember somebody who really wanted to care for her brother, who ended up in a hotel in New York City and died along with a number of other people, because it's not that everybody can take that time off. They need to have a paycheck to be able to take care of the other people in their families. And so, for me, as an introducer in the Assembly of this bill, I was so very happy to do this. I, too, have a sister, and we are very attached, and I would be there to help her, and she would be there to help me in any instance. But there are so many people that we learned, as it's all been said before, that just maybe don't have anybody that other than a sibling, or maybe they have somebody that lives in another state that can't come and take care of them when they have a major health issue, or they're having a child. And when we think about all this, isn't it better to be with somebody that you care about, as opposed to maybe ending up in a hotel? Ending up in a nursing home, ending up in or being at home by yourself. So this is such an important addition, I think, to our Paid Family Leave Act, and I'm just so proud to be a New Yorker, and that we're there on the front of making things happen for families. And I hope Washington follows our lead. So thank you very much, Governor.
Thank you. In addition to a better balance, I also want to acknowledge our partners, other advocates who stepped forward. I'd like them to come be part of this. And that would be Carmen Sepulveda, the Communications Director from AARP. AARP is staunchly behind this, and we appreciate all their fighting for this, because people think of paid family leave as babies, adopted, newly born. It's also very much utilized by people taking care of the elderly, and now they'll be able to take care of their elderly siblings. So Carmen, please give our regards to everyone at AARP. And Lisa Zucker, who's the senior attorney at the New York Civil Liberties Union, thank you for understanding that this is one of those rights that we're going to continue fighting for. So if you could join me, we'll do the bill signing and hand out some very nice pens. Someday we won't need these, right? Let's keep those vaccinations. Yeah, let's keep vaccinating. My handwriting is actually improving, I noticed. Go.
Right here, everyone.
All right. Great. Here we go. don't have an ink bomb all over your clothes while you're after. How can I figure out how to get ink out of clothes? I gotta ask that question.
Thank you.
Hopefully somebody will do that someday.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's give a round of applause
Thank
to our
you.
advocates for getting this done.
All right, we'll come out and then we'll come back for Q&A. Right this way?